Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll tell you about the 3i Sky Arrow. Now, this is the start of me making videos about every aircraft. Now, the list is from Wikipedia. Now, even though the list is from Wikipedia, I will try to avoid using other stuff from Wikipedia. I'll only use Wikipedia if there's no other place for me to find information. Now, to make sure that I don't cheat and use Wikipedia when I don't need to, I'll be using citations. There'll be a link to the citations in the description. But anyways, let's talk about it. The Sky Arrow, just in case you forgot. The Sky Arrow aircraft is the result of an important research program supported by the Italian government. In 1990, 3i obtained a research contract called Rondine Project from the Italian government for the industrial design of a remotely controlled aerial aircraft system, the Sky Arrow. The Rondine Project started in 1991 and ended in 1996 when the Sky Arrow was fully certified by the Italian Airworthiness Authority, or RAI. I'm not sure why it would be called RAI. It probably has something to do with the Italian way of spelling Italian Airworthiness Authority. But anyway, let's continue. The Sky Arrow has been the first all-carbon fiber aircraft to be certified for general aviation in the world. In 1997, the Italian government approved a company's project for the design of a system called RAWAS, Remotely Assisted Working Aerial System, which uses the Sky Arrow aircraft as an aerial platform and aims to perform patrolling missions, environmental monitoring, and territory control. The Sky Arrow aircraft has been produced since 1996 by Iniziative Industriali Italiane. I don't know if I said that right. I probably did not. Maybe I should ask my Italian friend Italiation. But anyway, let's continue. Or 3i, an Italian company with a long and successful experience in manufacturing FAA/FAR 23 certified airplanes. The Sky Arrow has two seats in tandem configuration, a layout that allows the pilot to have up to 300 degrees of visibility. The wing is above the fuselage and a pushing propeller is placed behind the cabin. As a result, pilot's visibility is increased. In addition, sensors and devices used for surveillance and research missions, usually installed in the nose or on the bottom of the fuselage, are not disturbed by the propeller wake. 3i entered bankruptcy proceedings on the 21st of May 2008, and in 2012 the 3i Sky Arrow design was purchased by Magnacchi Aeronautica. The Sky Arrow has been manufactured and marketed since 2012 by the new Italian owner, Magnacchi Aeronautica. Now for some specifications. There are a few versions of the Sky Arrow, but the version that these specifications are for is the Sky Arrow 650 TCN. The power plant used is the 81 horsepower Rotax 912 F81. The propeller used is the Hoffman 2-blade fixed pitch propeller with a 66-inch diameter. Now, it didn't say that it was 66 inches in diameter, it says something like that, but I'm pretty sure it meant 66-inch diameter. But you can check the citations and you can see this data where I got it from. The length of the aircraft is 24 foot and 11 inches. The height is 8 foot and 5 inches. The wingspan is 31 foot and 10 inches. The wing area is 146 square feet. The amount of seats is 2. It has an empty weight of 925 pounds. It has a maximum gross weight of 1,433 pounds. It has a useful load of 508 pounds. It has a payload with full fuel of 400 pounds. It has a takeoff distance of 781 feet. It has a rate of climb at sea level of 600 feet per minute. It has a service ceiling of 13,500 feet. It has a landing distance of 443 feet. It has a maximum demonstrated crosswind component of 15 knots. And now, that's enough for specifications. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll continue my series where I make a video about every airplane ever built, at least according to Wikipedia. Rules are in the first video, the one about the i3 Skyarrow. Anyways, in this video I'm going to tell you about the 3X55 Trainer. Let's talk about it. The 3X55 Trainer and 3X47 Ultra are a family of ultralight aircraft produced in Poland by the 3Extreme Aircraft Factory. Both are two-seat high-wing strut-braced monoplanes with fixed tricycle undercarriage and available only as complete aircraft. There are also 450 Ultra and 495 Ultra, plus subvariants of the 3X47 Ultra, with gross weights adjusted for national ultralight regulations. The US light sport aircraft version of the 3X55 is known as the Navigator 600 and has a 1,320 pound maximum gross takeoff weight. The company behind the aircraft is the 3X company. No, sorry, 3Extreme, not 3X-Trim. 3Extreme take their company name from a double entendre, I don't know what that word is, as they refer to their design being triple trimmed during the design prototype and production stages, and also that the aircraft is designed for extreme conditions. In English, the company name is pronounced 3Extreme. The designation 3X55 means 3 extreme aircraft, 550 kilogram gross weight, while the 3X47 refers to its 470 kilogram gross weight. Former SZD sailplane engineer Adam Kurbile designed the predecessor of the 3X55, the EOL line VLA, to conform to European JAR line VLA rules. That plane was modified through the years to meet Canadian advanced ultralight and US light sport aircraft rules. The 3X47 or 47 version is specifically for the European market to meet those standards. The European versions feature extensive structural use of carbon fiber to achieve lightness, while the 3X55 is predominantly of fiberglass construction. Otherwise, the two aircraft are similar in appearance and performance. The 3X55 first flew in 1996, and by the summer of 2006, about 60 aircraft of both types had been produced. Now it's time for specifications. These specifications are for the 55. It has a wingspan of 10 meters, it has a length of 6.8 meters, it has a height of 2.4 meters, it has a maximum takeoff weight of 0.6 tons, it has a fuel capacity of 60 liters. I don't know if I read that right, though. It has a maximum range of 400 nautical miles. It can seat 2 people. It has a takeoff distance of 250 meters. Its landing distance is the same. It has a max altitude of 13,000 feet. Its optimal max altitude is 10,000 feet. It has a maximum speed of 116 knots. Its optimal max speed is 80 knots. It has a maximum climb rate of 880 feet per minute. And that's enough specifications. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll continue my series where I make a video about every airplane ever built according to Wikipedia. Rules are in the first video, the one about the 3i Sky Arrow. This time I'm going to be talking about the A2CZ Ellipse Spirit. Now, there were a lot of websites with information about this aircraft, so putting it all together in a way so that it is not just mumbo jumbo is a bit hard, but I'll try. So now, let's talk about the A2CZ Ellipse Spirit. The Ellipse is a carbon fiber monocoque low-wing two-seater LSM featuring a T-tail, an elliptical wing design, and a maximum takeoff weight of 600 kilos, apparently. Engine options are currently the Rotax 912ULS and the 912IS with ground or in-flight adjustable propellers. It is a modern aircraft that is the dream of every pilot. The plane is fast, rigid, comfortable, versatile, safe, and well equipped in the standard configuration. It offers the retractable landing gear or fixed gear. Pilots can choose from several different types of power units and almost any optional modern equipment. The airframe is designed to meet all the requirements in compliance with German regulations, European regulations, and US regulations. It is delivered with electrically operated flaps and trims. The Ellipse Spirit UL's elliptical wing is the core element of its high-performance characteristics, reminiscent of the famous Spitfire. It might actually have been partially inspired by the Spitfire. The monocoque all carbon fiber design allows for a lightweight yet extremely strong structure, providing a roomy cockpit. The Ellipse Spirit UL can be outfitted with center or side sticks. The manufacturer behind this aircraft is the Czech company A2CZ. The aircraft features a smooth, streamlined body and a distinctive swept wing configuration that is not only aesthetically pleasing but also provides excellent aerodynamics. The use of composite materials and high-strength aluminum makes the Ellipse Spirit not only light but also extremely robust and resistant to the stresses of flying. Now for some specifications. It has a wingspan of 8 meters, it has a length of 6.5 meters, it has a height of 2 meters, it has a maximum takeoff weight of 0.6 tons or 600 kilograms, it has a fuel capacity of 80 liters, it has a range of 1000 nautical miles, it has a capacity of 2 people, it has a max speed of 150 knots, it has an optimal speed of 130 knots, it has a max climb rate of 1480 feet per minute, and now that's enough specifications for today. Oh, and I'm pretty sure I forgot to say this, and I forgot to add this in for all the other types. So this part will not have a citation, but it was introduced in 2011. And you could also purchase this as a kit airplane. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll continue my series where I make a video about every airplane ever built according to Wikipedia. Rules are in the first video, the one about the 3i sky arrow. Now, if you've ever watched that video, you'll know that I said I will try to avoid using other stuff from Wikipedia. I'll only use Wikipedia if there's no other place for me to find information. Well, this might be one of those times. Now, I only found 2 websites with info that was just not copied from Wikipedia. One was in English and did not have enough info to be used by itself. The other one was in Korean and I could not highlight it and get it translated. I do though know that it was specifications because of a Rotax engine being mentioned. Anyway, this means that I will be using Wikipedia for the script of this video. So, anyway, let's talk about the VNS-41. The VNS-41 is the first amphibious microlight aircraft made in Vietnam. The A-41 factory, officially Aircraft Repair Company A-41, under the Air Force and Air Defense Department Ministry of Defense, manufactured the aircraft based on the Russian Chi-22 corvette designed by Boris Chernov and E. Yungerov. I don't know if I said that right. A Chi-22 was acquired by Vietnam in the late 1990s and from the Philippines. The technicians began developing the VNS-41 in June or July of 2003. On the 12th of September 2004, the prototype performed its maiden flight with test pilot
Nguyễn Duy Lê
at the controls. Fitted with 2 65 horsepower Rotax 582 engines, the VNS-41 used the A92 fuel type, and each of its engines consumed about 19 to 22 liters per hour. The VNS-41's hull, tail, and middle wing are made from high quality composite material. On land, the aeroplane can take off after a 50 to 70 meter run. Meanwhile, the VNS-41 can take off on water after a 200 to 300 meter run. The cost of the aircraft is under 2 million Vietnamese dong, which is about 786,000 USD if I have calculated correctly. And with calculated correctly, I mean put the right numbers into Google. Now for some information. The crew of the aircraft was 1. The capacity of the aircraft was 3. The length of the aircraft was 6.98 meters. The wingspan of the aircraft was 11.65 meters. The height of the aircraft was 2.535 meters. The wing area was 11.65 meters squared. The empty weight of the aircraft was 520 kilograms. The max takeoff weight was 700 kilograms. The power plant was 2 Rotax 582 2-stroke 2-cylinder liquid-cooled gear reduction drive piston engines with 48 kilowatt. I think it's kilowatt or 65 horsepower each. The maximum speed of the aircraft was around 76 to 86 knots. The cruise speed of the aircraft was 65 to 73 knots. The range was 300 kilometers. The service ceiling was 9,800 feet. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll once again be looking into Wikipedia's list of every airplane ever built. Now, even though the list is from Wikipedia, I'm not allowed to use the info from Wikipedia. I have to go to other sources. Now that you've understood that, hopefully you have understood that. Before I begin the video, I must say that I'm a bit unprepared to make this video. I've used most of the day getting a browser to work on an old Windows 7 computer that I sometimes use for fun. And most of the rest of the day has been used to make a video for my main channel and then just play Counter-Strike 2 with a friend. So I hope that this does not make the video worse than normal. Anyways, let's talk about the AAC Angel. Let's talk about it. The Angel was designed by Carl A. Mortensen, who designed and built an earlier light twin aircraft named the Evangel for similar operations, and I've already made a video about the Evangel, and you should probably watch it. Design goals included low manufacturing costs, stall capability, suitability for rough and soft field operation, sturdiness, easy to maintain and repair in the field, and the ability to accommodate bulky cargo. The design phase involved more than 11,000 man-hours of work on over 1,000 drawings. Mortensen began construction of the prototype, also from his home, in 1977, but because of its size had to move operations to the municipal airport in Orange City in 1980. Registered November 44 Kilo Echo, the Angel flew for the first time on January 13th of 1984 and had logged over 250 flight hours by August 1986. During the test program, the engines were raised above the wings on pylons for a period. Outboard trimarans were added for improved single engine control and the tailplane span was increased. Later, the engines were placed on top of the wings in longer nacelles to increase cruising speed by an estimated 13 knots. By 1986, the Angel Aircraft Corporation, or AAC, had been founded. The president was the designer and constructor Carl Mortensen, and chief engineer was Ed Mortensen, who I presume is a family member because they have the same last name. Structural testing began in 1990, and on October 20, 1992, the type certificate was received for the Angel. The first aircraft was not completed until 2002. Registered November 442 Kilo Bravo, it was subsequently operated by South America Mission of Fort Mill, South Carolina. On November 23, 2015, the registration was cancelled as the aircraft had been registered in Bolivia as Charlie Papa 3041. AAC received the production certificate on September 23, 2003, under which the second production aircraft was completed later that year. Registered November 442 Kilo Charlie, it received its certificate of airworthiness on February 24, 2004. Presently, it is registered to Bolo Nicolaisen Aviation of Potomac, Maryland. The third production aircraft was completed in 2008 and was registered to AAC as November 1012 Quebec on January 29, 2008. The registration was cancelled on December 10, 2009 as the aircraft was sold to Australia. In Australia, it was registered as Victor Hotel, and I don't remember what I is, Oscar Zulu. I still don't remember what I stands for in registrations, so if you want to look that up, you can. It was registered to what I just said, to Milkwood Holdings at Horn Island, Queensland on January 8, 2010. Subsequent owners became Andrew Azul Aviation of Cooktown, who cancelled the registration on November 14th, 2017, as the aircraft was put up for sale. 16 months later, the aircraft was still not sold, and Anju Azul Aviation had its aircraft re-registered on March 29th of 2019, this time as Victor Hotel. I was India Alpha Zulu. I'm pretty sure that's it. On December 14th, 2019, during a pilot review flight, the aircraft was lost in a crash near Mariba Airport in Queensland. The pilot had made a touch and go, and at the height of about 150 feet, entered a right descending turn. After about 20 seconds in the air, the aircraft rolled rapidly to the right and impacted terrain about 475 meters north of the runway. Both the pilot and the reviewer sustained fatal injuries, and the aircraft was destroyed. No more Angel aircraft have been built in the USA after that. However, on April 3rd, 2013, Hubei Haihang Xingye Aircraft Manufacturing at Xiangyang in the Hubei district of China acquired a license contract to manufacture the AAC Angel 44. The type was approved by the Chinese National Civil Aviation Administration on July 17th of 2015. Reportedly, the first Chinese example was substantially complete. I don't think that's supposed to be there. Completed in May of 2016, when the Hubei local government provided funds to establish a new manufacturing plant. This prompted Qinghai General Aviation to order 50 Angel aircraft. The new company was established on March 2nd, 2017 in Yingmen, operating under the name Alung Aircraft Company. On July 23rd, 2018, the US firm Bendix King signed a contract to provide flight displays and autopilots for Alung's aircraft. Unfortunately, there's no indication of further aircraft has been built. Now for some specifications and informations, because I have a good amount. The Angel has a service ceiling of around 19,000 feet. It has a capacity of 8 people, including the pilot. It has a fuel capacity of around 224 US gallons. It has a length of about 33 feet. It has a wingspan of around 40 feet. It has a height of around 11 feet. It has a maximum range of around 1,700 nautical miles. It has a maximum takeoff weight of around 5,800 pounds. And it has an empty weight of around 3,800 pounds. It has a cruising speed of around 174 knots. It has a landing speed of around 57 knots, and it has a takeoff and landing distance of around 600 feet. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. The Evangel 4500 was a 1960s American twin-engine light passenger/cargo monoplane built by the Evangel Aircraft Corporation. Now let's talk about it. The Evangel Aircraft Corporation was established to design and build a bush aircraft, particularly for use by missionary groups. For work in South America, it had to have sole capability and be simple to operate and maintain. The aircraft that was designed was designated the Evangel 4500-300 and was a twin-engine monoplane with a tailwheel configuration, retractable landing gear. The prototype first flew in June of 1964 and the first production aircraft in January of 1969. The aircraft needs a very short takeoff run and can achieve a takeoff of 50 feet or 50 meters within 375 yards or 343 meters. Now, for the variants, there was the Evangel 4500, which was the sole prototype with a high strut braced wing and tricycle undercarriage, which was basically just a BN2 Islander modified. Then there was the Evangel 4500-300, the production variant with the older tailwheel gear, and then there was the Evangel 4500-300-2, used to identify aircraft fitted with turbochargers. Now, the aircraft could fly with a crew of 1, it had a capacity of 8 passengers, a length of 9.60 meters, a wingspan of 12.57 meters, a height of 2.90 meters, a wing area of 23.3 square meters, an empty weight of 3,455 pounds or 1,567 kilograms, a max takeoff weight of 5,500 pounds or 2,495 kilograms, a fuel capacity of 111 US gallons. It was powered by two Evo Lycoming IO 540 K1B5 air-cooled flat 6-piston engines with 300 horsepower each. The propellers were two-bladed hard-cell 6 feet and 8 inches or 2.3 meter diameter propellers. The maximum speed was 200 knots. The cruise speed was 152 knots. The stall speed was 58 knots. The range was 1,100 kilometers. And the service ceiling was 21,000 feet. It had a rate of climb of 1,500 feet a minute. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. The first plane that was made by Scandinavian Aero Industries was called the KC-1. The Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-1 was a sport aircraft built in Denmark in 1937. The KC-1 was a low-wing cantilever monoplane of conventional design with fixed tailwheel undercarriage and an open cockpit with a single seat. Construction throughout was of wood. Only a single KC-1 was constructed, and it disappeared during the course of World War II. During the 70s, a flying replica was built with work started by Gunnar Fjord Christiansen in 1972 and sold to the Danish Airplane Museum in 1977. The completed aircraft, powered by a more powerful but heavier 50 horsepower 1.5 liter Volkswagen flat 4 engine, flew for the first time on the 20th of November 1988 and in 2008 remains part of the museum's collection. It had a wingspan of 7.2 meters and a wing area of 8.4 square meters. It had an empty weight of 192 kilograms and a gross weight of 325 kilograms. Its original powerplane was a single ABC Scorpion 2-cylinder air-cooled 35 horsepower horizontally opposed piston engine. It had a two-bladed fixed pitch propeller. It had a max speed of 79 knots and a landing speed of 32 knots. It also had a cruise speed of 86 knots. It had a max altitude of 16,000 feet and a crew of 1. Next came the KC-2. The Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-2 was a sport aircraft built in Denmark in 1937, produced in 3 major versions before and after the Second World War. In its original form, designated the Coupe, was a low-wing cantilever monoplane of conventional design with fixed tailwheel undercarriage and 2 seats side by side under an enclosed canopy. The fuselage structure was of steel tube skinned in plywood and fabric, and the wings were wooden with plywood covering and could be folded back along the fuselage for transport and storage. This was followed by the aerobatic Scandinavian Aero Industries KC2 Sport, with a revised fuselage design, placing the 2 seats in separate open cockpits in tandem, and a dedicated military trainer version along the same lines the Scandinavian Aero Industries KC2 trainer. This later type was first produced in 1946 as a step towards rebuilding Denmark's air force after the war. They remained in service until 1955, when 9 examples were sold into private hands. In 2008, an example of each variant is preserved in the Danish Airplane Museum. It had a length of 7.6 meters, a wingspan of 10.2 meters and a height of 2.1 meters. It had a wing area of 15 square meters. It had an empty weight of 550 kilograms and a gross weight of 850 kilograms. It had a fuel capacity of 110 liters in 2 tanks in the wing center section. Its power plant was a single de Havilland Gypsy Major 1 4-cylinder inverted air-cooled inline piston engine with 145 horsepower. Its propeller was a 2-bladed wooden fixed-pitch air screw with a 2-meter diameter. It had a max speed of 127 knots and a stall speed of 40 knots. It had a never exceed speed of 190 knots. It had a max range of 500 kilometers, and it had a max altitude of 16,000 feet. It had a rate of climb of 885 feet per minute, and it had a takeoff run of 319 feet and a landing run of 430 feet, and a crew of 2. Next was the KCG-1 glider. In the early 1940s, there was a great need among Danish gliders to find a 1-seat school glider that could replace the outdated German Säugling and SG-38 types for basic training. The aircraft had to be simple enough that it could be built in the many gliding clubs that emerged during the war. The desire for a unit type was fueled when, in 1942, the Tuborg Foundation entered into financing the construction and building of 2 such school gliders, one at Polyteknisk Flyggruppe and another at Scandinavian Aero Industries. After testing the types in September of 1943, the choice fell in favor of the Polyt 1. For this reason, only the prototype of the Scandinavian Aero Industries' first and only school glider, the KCG-1, was built. The aircraft was registered as OY54, later OYASX. The KCG-1 had an empty weight of 100 kilograms. Next came the Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-3. The Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-3 Lærke was a Danish light utility aircraft used by the Danish Air Ambulance Service and Danish Air Force. The first KC-3 was built during the German occupation of Denmark and first flew on the 11th of September 1944. With German permission, it was transferred to the rescue service. A second wartime example was smuggled to Sweden. The 2 wartime aircraft had a 19 horsepower Gypsy Major 1 engine. The KC-3 had a high wing braced by V-struts to the lower fuselage. Its fuselage had a steel tube structure and, like the rest of the aircraft, had fabric covering. Its 2 front seats shared dual controls. 64 were built post-war with a 100 horsepower Blackburn Cirrus Minor 2 4-cylinder inverted air-cooled inline piston engine. Many of these went to flying clubs, mostly in Denmark, but with sales to several nearby countries. A few went further, one to Singapore and another to India, where its airframe still survives. It had a length of 6.6 meters, a wingspan of 9.6 meters, and a height of 2.1 meters. It had a wing area of 13 square meters. It had an empty weight of 368 kilograms and a max weight of 706 kilograms. It had a fuel capacity of 68.2 liters. It had a two-bladed weighbridge 1.9 millimeter diameter wooden fixed pitch propeller. It had a max speed of 100 knots and a cruise speed of 92 knots. It had a landing speed of 30 knots. It had a range of 500 kilometers. It had a max altitude of 13,501 feet. It had a rate of climb of 700 feet per minute. It had a takeoff run of 230 feet and a landing run of 160 feet. Next came the Scandinavian Aero Industries KC, and I think that says 4, but I'm not sure because it's written in Roman numerals, so I think it says 4. The Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-4 was a light twin-engined aircraft first built in Denmark in 1944 for use as an air ambulance. It was a conventional low-wing cantilever monoplane with twin tails mounted on the ends of the horizontal stabilizer. Power was provided by two engines mounted in nacelles in the wings that also housed the main units of the fixed tailwheel undercarriage. The cabin could hold 2 stretchers, 2 medical attendants, and a flight crew of 2. A single machine registered OYDIC was built during the war, with a second aircraft registered as OYDCU being built and flown in 1949. That same year, the OYDIC was christened with the name Folke Bernadotte in honor of the Swedish count who had used this very aircraft to make a diplomatic visit to Germany to negotiate for the release of Danish prisoners in German concentration camps near the end of the war. This aircraft is now the flagship of the Danish Aircraft Museum collection, having been restored to its original wartime configuration and markings following a career as a utility aircraft in England and a crash in 1979. The second aircraft was actively operational until the mid-1960s. It had a capacity of 2 I've already said this, but yeah, I don't know why, but I wrote that 2 times. It had a length of 9.8 meters, a wingspan of 16 meters, and a height of 2.45 meters. It had a wing area of 30 square meters. It had an empty weight of 1,200 kilograms and a gross weight of 2,000 kilograms. It had a fuel capacity of 240 liters. Its power plant was 2 de Havilland Gypsy Major 4-cylinder inverted inline air-cooled piston engines with 130 horsepower each. It had a 2-bladed fixed-pitch wooden propeller. It had a max speed of 116 knots and a cruise speed of 110 knots. It had a landing speed of 40 knots. It had a range of 900 kilometers. It had a takeoff run of 460 feet and a landing run of 230 feet. It also had a crew of 2. Anyways, if you're enjoying the video so far, please drop a like and a comment and maybe subscribe. Anyways, back to the video. Next was the KC-5, which I don't actually have any info about other than the fact that it was a twin-engined short-haul airliner, cancelled before a prototype could be built. Next was the Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-7 Lark, was a light utility aircraft built in Denmark shortly after the Second World War, based on the Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-3 air ambulance. The KC-7 was a strut-braced, high-wing monoplane of conventional design with an enclosed cabin for 4 seats. 56 aircraft were built and another 22 partially completed aircraft were destroyed in a factory fire in 1947. The Danish Air Force operated 10 of the type as trainers between 1950 and 1977. It had a passenger capacity of 2 passengers. It had a length of 6.56 meters, a wingspan of 9.6 meters, and a height of 2.1 meters. It had a wing area of 13 square meters. It had an empty weight of 464 kilograms and a gross weight of 867 kilograms. It had a fuel capacity of 110 liters. Its power plant was a single Continental C125 6-cylinder air-cooled, horizontally opposed piston engine with 125 horsepower. It had a 2-bladed 1.9 meter diameter fixed-pitch propeller. It had a max speed of 110 knots and a cruise speed of 100 knots. It had a landing speed of 35 knots. It had a max altitude of 13,501 feet and a rate of climb of 557.7 feet per minute, and a crew of 2. Next was the Scandinavian Aero Industries KC, and I think that says 8. Again, it's Roman numerals, so I don't understand fully what it is, but I think that says 8. The Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-8 was an aerobatic sport aircraft first built in Denmark in 1949. It was a low-wing cantilever monoplane of conventional configuration with a fixed tailwheel undercarriage and a single seat. The first KC-8 was custom built by Scandinavian Aero Industries for the Danish aerobatic display team Silvestiensen Luftcirkus, in which Peter Steen piloted the aircraft in some 50 performances in summer of 1950. At the same time, a full set of parts for a second aircraft was produced, but this was not assembled until 1959. In 1996, another was completed by amateur builder Hardy Watt, powered by a flat 4 engine. It had a length of 5.70 meters, a wingspan of 7.20 meters, and a height of 1.80 meters. It had a wing area of 8.64 square meters. It had an empty weight of 407 kilograms and a gross weight of 650 kilograms. Its power plant was a single de Havilland Gypsy Major 10 air-cooled 4-cylinder inline engine with 145 horsepower. It had a max speed of 148 knots and a max range of 584 kilometers. It also had a rate of climb of 1,575 feet per minute and a crew of 1. The next was the KC Ellehammer, which was a replica of the 1909 Ellehammer plane. Next was the Scandinavian Aero Industries KC-10. The KC-10 was a strut-braced, high-wing, 2-seat military observation monoplane developed from the KC-7 with a more powerful 145 horsepower Continental C145 engine. Deliveries to the Danish Army began in 1952, but by the summer of that year 2 had already crashed. The investigations of these crashes, attributed to failure of the wooden rudder, were conducted with technical assistance from Britain's Royal Aircraft Establishment, but no underlying defect in the aircraft design was uncovered. The prototype was modified with a steel-framed rudder as the KC-10 Mk2, but the KC-10 was returned to service. When 2 more crashes took place in 1954, the type was finally withdrawn, then scrapped in 1960, leaving the prototype as the only surviving example. It is now in the Danish Airplane Museum, active again in 2009 after restoration. It had a length of 6.50 meters, a wingspan of 9.41 meters, and a height of 2.20 meters. It had a wing area of 13 square meters. It had an empty weight of 529 kilograms and a gross weight of 860 kilograms. It had a power plant of a single Continental C-145 air-cooled flat 6-piston engine with 145 horsepower. It had a max speed of 160 knots and a range of 800 kilometers. It had a max altitude of 14,400 feet and a crew of 2. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll continue my series where I make a video about every airplane ever built, according to Wikipedia. Rules are in the first video, the one about the 3i Sky Arrow. So here comes the video about the Pro Composites Vision. Now the reason why it's so high up on the list is because apparently it was originally called the AAA Vision, so it's very early in the alphabet, so that's why it's such an early video, even though I'm still in the A part of the alphabet. But anyway, let's talk about it. The Pro Composites Vision is a 2-seat all-composite aircraft built from proven construction manuals designed for first-time builders. 2 models are available: the Sportier SP model and the extended wing EX version, which is more suitable for high altitude flying, heavier loads, and low-time pilots. Both visions are supplied with the plans. Constructed entirely from the manuals using raw materials or from pre-formed parts, which greatly reduce the build time. The affordable Vision home-built aircraft is the only all-composite plans-built 2-seat sport aircraft that uses a conventional, non-canard platform. Experimental aircraft don't have to be tiny. The Vision is a full-size aircraft and can be easily built to handle even the largest pilots. Most of the current Visions are being built with a 44 to 46 inch wide cockpit. Even pilots as tall as 6'5" can be accommodated. The Vision is affordable, but is not the cheapest airplane around. There are less expensive ways to build an airplane, however. The Vision plans will allow you to complete an aircraft that is not susceptible to corrosion or dry rot. With fiberglass and readily available epoxies, the entire airframe can be built for less than $10,000. With a mid-time Lycoming 0235/320 and VFR panel, you could be in the air for under $30,000. This is for a new aircraft built the way you want it. The benefit of plans-built aircraft, and especially the Vision, is that the materials can be purchased over time and according to your budget and spend off completion. The Vision was designed in 1994. Now for some information. The Pro Composites Vision has a wingspan of 8 meters. It has a maximum takeoff range of a weight of 0.8 tons. It has a fuel capacity of 150 liters. I think that's pretty high. I don't know if I read that right. It has a capacity of 2 people. It has a takeoff distance of 200 meters. It has a landing distance of 300 meters. It has a maximum speed of 140 knots. It has an optimal speed of 130 knots, and it has a maximum climb rate of 2,300 feet per minute. Now, Why does most of this video sound like a giant advertisement? Well, that's because I took most of the script from the company's website. Well, that's what you get if you don't want me to use Wikipedia, which, if there's any other source, I've said I'm gonna use that, since people don't like me using Wikipedia. Now I think the video is basically done here. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll continue my series where I make a video about every airplane ever built according to Wikipedia. Rules are in the first video, which is the one about the 3i Sky Arrow. Anyways, in this video, I'm going to tell you about the Rowley P-40F. Let's talk about it. The Rowley P-40F was an American home-built aircraft that was designed by Richard J. Rowley and marketed by his company, the 67th Fighter Squadron Inc. of Meadow Lake Airport, Colorado. First flown in 1986. Was 76, not 67. When it was available, the aircraft was supplied in the form of plans for amateur construction. The Rowley P-40F was a 3 out of 4 scale replica of the Second World War Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. The company 76th Fighter Squadron Incorporated was named after the 76th Fighter Squadron, formerly a Flying Tigers unit flying P-40s. The P-40F featured a cantilever low wing, a single seat enclosed cockpit under a sliding canopy, conventional landing gear, and a single engine in tractor configuration. The aircraft was capable of aerobatics. The aircraft's fuselage was made from welded 4130 steel tubing covered in sheet 2024 T3 aluminum. The 28 feet wingspan were made with spruce wood box spar with an aluminum front shear and had a wing area of 128 square feet. The acceptable power range was 95 to 125 horsepower, and the original engine used was a 100 horsepower 2SI-808, later replaced with a Rotax power plant. The P-40F prototype had an empty weight of 750 pounds and a gross weight of 1,200 pounds, giving a useful load of 450 pounds, with a full fuel of 22 US gallons. The payload of the pilot and baggage was 318 pounds. The standard day sea level no wind takeoff with a 100 horsepower engine was 800 feet. The landing roll was 700 feet. Now for some specifications other than the one we've already said. It had a length of 23 feet. It had a height of 8 feet. It had a wingspan of 28 feet. It had a wing area of 125 square feet. It had one seat. It had an empty weight of 749 pounds. It had a gross weight of 1,205 pounds. It had a fuel capacity of 22 gallons. Now that is enough for specifications. And that's all. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.